Meanwhile, Indian stock markets are on a high after a few weeks of poll jitters. The bulls are making a comeback. The markets have rebounded. This week, they surpassed $5 trillion in value. And this milestone was achieved in record time. At the end of November 2023, they'd crossed the $4 trillion mark. And now we are in the month of May. So in barely 6 months, Indian markets have gained $1 trillion in valuation. They've added $1 trillion. These are companies listed on the Bombay Stock Exchange, better known as the BSE. It is India's oldest stock exchange. Companies listed on this index are together worth $5 trillion. As of today, only 3 other countries are ahead of India: the United States, China, and Japan. In January this year, India overtook the markets of Hong Kong. It became the 4th largest stock market. So the question is, what is driving this rally? Mostly retail investors, the ones who invest through mutual funds. Those are retail investors by making small contributions every month. Earlier, their participation was modest. But in recent years, more retail investors have entered the markets in India and they're investing bigger sums. In the last 1 year alone, the value of their assets has surged by 44%. Mutual funds now hold almost 9% of all Indian stocks. Again, this is an all-time high. And what does this trajectory tell you? We've listed a few key takeaways. First of all, the changing approach of Indian retail investors. They're willing to take more risks, to make more bets with their savings. And the second point to note is that the markets have a buffer. Thanks to this steady inflow of funds, there's a buffer against sudden shocks, like a mass withdrawal from institutional investors or foreigners. Indian markets are less likely to experience extreme or volatile swings. But here's the flip side to this story. While retail investors are still bullish on India, foreign investors are shifting. They're selling shares in large volumes. Let me show you the numbers from this month. Foreign investors have sold stocks worth over 27,000 crore rupees. That's more than $3 billion US. And this selling or dumping of shares has been happening for weeks now. Since April, global funds have pulled well over $4 billion from India. Investments by FPIs have dropped to a 12-year low. What are FPIs? Foreign portfolio investors, 12-year low. Now, these are foreign individuals, companies or institutions who invest in the Indian stock market. So why are they pulling their money out? One reason is interest rates. They're still high in countries like the US, so investors who want to keep their money safe are putting it in US bonds. Some others are betting on prices to fall. In other words, they're shorting. They're shorting Indian stocks. Now, reports say there are more than 200,000 such contracts. What does shorting a stock mean? It's basically a bet against a company or a stock. If an investor feels that the company's shares are overvalued, they place a bet against the stock. This is what is called a short. So Indian stocks are being shorted. Does it make sense? Well, to some extent it does, because many Indian stocks are overvalued. So investors may be sensing an opportunity and looking to make a quick profit. But such transactions are often short-term in nature. They do not reflect the long-term outlook of neither the Indian stock markets nor Indian companies. And then there is one final factor, which is the Indian election. Some investors are still waiting for the results to come. They will make their next move after the results. And some of the recent sell-off was driven by low voter turnouts in the initial phases. It led to a lot of speculation. Some investors were unsure about the outcome. Well, they won't have to wait for long. In 12 days from now, we'll have the election results.
Firstpost reports from the world's second largest continent. Hello, I'm Alison Lagrange. A very warm welcome from Durban, South Africa. We get you the news and the newsmakers from Africa. South Africa goes to the polls on the 29th of May. I will track the election and bring you ground reports. Is it the end of the road for the African National Congress? And will former President Jacob Zuma stage a dramatic comeback? From elections to climate change to innovations and opportunities. As the world's attention shifts, we report from Africa the heart of the Global South. Join me every weekday live on Firstpost.